Good evening. I have no idea what happened the first time. We seemed to we went live and then we died straight away. Let's just check that this is working because it hasn't come up on the screen as yet. And there we go. Everything is live. Whew, Jesus. Thought Gremlins had got into the system. Anyway, good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. A lot of chat this afternoon about Greg Taylor returning to the club. It looks like it won't be Greg Taylor returning to Celtic. There is a couple of other names that has been mentioned this evening, this afternoon. We're going to look at a couple of players that have been linked with Celtic. The first one is Caleb Wiley. Now, this is one that I'm not too sure about. He is a left back. He's a left winger and he's a left midfielder. Currently playing at Chelsea Football Club. And his valuation's around about €8 million, which is bonkers. I don't know too much about the player, but it looks like he might have been injured at the end. Well, I think he's been injured a lot last season, from what I'm reading. Let me just get this on the screen. So this is the young American that we could be looking at as a possibility. There is another player that we've been mentioned with this evening also. Left back. If he's not getting a game at Chelsea, if he's been injured last season, kind of fits the bill for coming to Celtic, doesn't he? Play second fiddle to Kieran Tierney, get the odd game, prove his worth. And there's no way Celtic will pay that kind of money for him in the future. But he's contracted until 2030 at Chelsea. So we'll see how that one develops. It looks like it may not be Greg Taylor. Give me 2 seconds. I just need to send a message to somebody that's... Just till I get this. Sending you a message. You got it? That's fine. Right, let's get back to the Celtic news. Obviously, Celtic need a left back. We're looking to try and get a deal done as quick as possible to try and have the squad. And if we do bring this lad in, I mean, he's 21-year-old. His valuation is through the roof. What does it say for Adam Montgomery at Celtic? If you're Adam Montgomery, you're going to be a bit pissed off, aren't you? The fact that you're bringing in someone from Chelsea that's not really had much game time down there. He was out on loan at Watford last season. And he's been out on loan at Strasbourg also. Could be similar to the journey that he's took, a bit like Cameron Carter-Vickers, getting passed from pillar to post, coming through the academy at Atalanta. Atlanta. Well, there we go. Went for big money down to Chelsea. Right, the other player that we are looking at... Wait a minute, because I need to just do something to get the chat. Pop out chat. Apologies about this. We're all over the place this evening because there's that much going on. I've got all the screens open tonight, and that was part of the issue with the last live that died, unfortunately. Anyway, congratulations to Paul. Andrew, for becoming a new member of the channel. New member! Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Anyway, who do we take? How do we take? Why do we take forever to get players finalised? I think that we're going to get quite a few players in tomorrow. Another player that we've been linked with since before the World Cup was another Canadian. Yes, a Canadian that... Now, this is interesting because he can play the defensive midfield position. He can play right centre back. He can play as right back. Yes. Although he does play in the defensive midfield area for his team in, is it Croatia that he's in just now? Nico Sigur is the player we're talking about. He's another one. Oh, Jesus, wrong screen whatsoever. Nico Sigur. He's a player that Celtic have been linked with again. Now, this one is interesting because obviously not due to the fact that he's Canadian, more to the fact that he can play in the right back area. What if he is the man that Celtic want to bring in to replace Alistair Johnston? Replace some Canadian for Canadian. My goodness. It looks like it's going to be a busy couple of days at Celtic. If we are to bring him in, market value around about €4 million. Makes you wonder how he's going to fit into the defensive midfield. We're not buying him for a defensive midfield if you're going to bring the player in, because you've got Callum McGregor in the defensive midfield. You've got Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in that midfield. But he could play at right centre back and right back, which means if you wanted to go to a back three, he could be very, very versatile. They play well together, Seager and Alistair Johnston. Whoa, that's a big statement. Will Alistair Johnston still be here to see his fellow Canadian in at the club? I think if he's coming in, he's more than likely to be a replacement for Alistair Johnston, who will go for big money. It's interesting because nobody's actually spoke about the value that Celtic have put on Alistair Johnston. I mean, people have said around about 14 million, 15 million. I think that that's a steal for Alistair Johnston. But if we sell him for 14 million and then we spend 4 million to bring in, it's such a Celtic thing to do, isn't it? It's, one out the door, one in, 10 million in the bank. Bob's your uncle. The board are doing this. All the way to the bank. Yeah. He has only got a contract that expires. Now, this is an interesting one because the contract expires the 31st of May 2028. So I think that could be a deal that could get done quite quick if Celtic were to make the move for the Canadian. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Hassan, Bauer, Hoch, who... Duran, for fuck's sake, somebody broke into Celtic and stole the biscuit tin. I stole the biscuit tin. Somebody's went into Celtic and has anybody seen Michael Nicholson? This is a public safety announcement. Will supporters of Celtic FC look out for a man wearing a suit with a green and white tie, looking deranged, dazed, and fearful that he has spent money. His name is Michael Nicholson, and if you see him, approach with care. Not that he's violent, but he may break into tears and he may start sobbing uncontrollably. So if you see Michael, take care of him and hand him into Celtic Park, because he might be walking about like this. Michael Nicholson spending money at Celtic. Who would have thought it? Take the peacock out the boards. The board's full of them. Let's jump into the comment section tonight and see what we're saying about all this speculation about players coming in. We know that we've got a couple of players coming in. It could be a busy... The board, well, there was rumours. The board didn't come out and say, but there was rumours at the weekend that Celtic wanted to get in 4 players by the deadline tomorrow. What if Celtic managed to do it? What then happens to the Celtic fans collective? What then happens with Willie Hawkey's group? Do the fans, the wider fan base, keep pushing for change at Celtic? Or has this, or will this have been a good enough transfer window if this was all to come to fruition? I mean, when you look at the players that we've brought in so far, this could be the window where Celtic bring in real quality. You know, they're not going down the road of quantity. They're bringing in the highest possible level player that they can. Where does that? Where do you feel the people that are on the live this evening? There's 480 people on live right now. It's way lower than earlier. Jeez, the live earlier just went boom, ballistic. But how do you feel about the board if we bring all these players in this transfer window? Has anyone seen Desmond's checkbook? Somebody stole it. Nicholson's looking for his credit card for more signings. Hey, Seager, the Canadian, would be a nice addition. I think he would be a nice addition. But for me, it shouts out that we're about to lose Alistair Johnston. Stuart says, Michael, you're right. You're right. Still have 70 million from last year. And then if we get into the Champions League, more money comes in. It's very true. Paul Baird's in the house. He's happy because it looks like that Greg Taylor is not the player that may be coming to Celtic. Baz, did you see the Celt 88 shot on how rankers are going to beat us? Nope, didn't see that, Jim. Maloney said on Sunday that we need at least 3, a forward, a midfielder and a defender. Collective's not going to do nothing, let's be honest. What's that? What's going on, like? Yeah, he's going. He was going live at. Yeah. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Yeah, I know. Oh, is it? Oh, give me 2 seconds and I'll change channel on this. Sorry about this, people. There's work stuff that I need to do right now. Let me just make sure that the volume's right down for that. Let me just check this. Sorry about this. I'm just videos. That's because he wanted them. Right, it's cool. It's work stuff. They can wait. Transfer dealings. That's what's going on. Yes, it is that. Right. Let's get back into Barry Lawless says if they think they'll pull it off the board, I think it's best they go forward. Just seen some of the comments. Still go ahead. Shares could sell them and give the money back if need be. It's an interesting one. Who identified Balak Wisha? Must not be at the club anymore. Well, it was him that left, wasn't it? The football doctor that left the club. I think Stephen Johnson, was he not on the live earlier? Paul Baird says, don't let them off the hook talking about the board. I'm just going to check Celtic a minute. I turn that on because I've got a fan trying. Tisdale, that was his name, Tisdale. Paul Tisdale. Now, Celtic usually like putting out statements at this time of night. The Google doctor. Yeah. Paul Tisdale. When you look at Celtic website, they're not announcing anything as yet. Typical Celtic. So it looks like they're going to do a double announcement tomorrow. Leave it late as always. Let's just check the... Let me just jump onto this a second. There is... No, that's old news. Now, it looks like Celtic are going to do at least a double announcement tomorrow, and possibility of getting in a loan player tomorrow. So it will be the 3 players. Wonder if Celtic will get a loan player goalkeeper in. That's old news. Right, let me jump back into some of the comments. Triple announcement tomorrow. Hassan, Bauer and Taylor. I don't think it's going to be Greg Taylor. I think that there's more chance of... The fact it's a loan player, Greg Taylor doesn't want to play sitting back up to Kieran Tierney. That's why he left the club. There's more chance of bringing in this young guy from Chelsea, who is worth a decent bit of money, but he is... he's been out on loan. So a player like that you could bring up to Celtic, and you can have him sitting on the bench. You can have him in the Champions League squad, but you can also use him more for, and it gives you a good bit of cover for the cup games. Now he won't be well, he could be available for the cup game this weekend, but I can't see him stepping right into that position, considering he is a left midfielder, a left back and a left winger. And if Celtic don't manage to get in another left winger, you could see why they could utilise a player as Caleb Ryan Wiley. But let's just jump back into some of the comments section. I'm not going to be on long tonight because there is work stuff that I need to do, unfortunately. No, this lot. It'll be Friday 6 p.m. before they put it out. Yeah, this is probably possible. Maybe clueless podcasters and fans will learn not to slag off the club consistently if they haven't signed 10 players and spent £50 million 2 days into the window. Don't think I don't think, did that come under that? I don't think I came under that, did I? But anyway, that's all about comments. What's the smart money saying on the loanee? Smart money saying on the loanee that I would go with the guy from Chelsea rather than Greg Taylor. Just saying. Greg Taylor will not be wanting to sit about on the bench and play second fiddle. But we'll wait and see. Celtic don't need Taylor, but he needs Celtic, says Chris. Remember the Bunnet who saved us was booed by some fans. Yeah, we do, but what's that to do with tonight? Will Jota be fit soon? Yes, he will be. And that'll be fantastic for Celtic when he is back fit. Why would a young good player go out on loan to be a sub? Well, the same young player went to Watford last year. He was at Strasbourg also. It's all about younger players getting game time. Do you know, if you're not going to get into the first team, do you know that a club will put you out on loan? We put our 21-year-olds out on loan. But we'll wait and see. Michelle says that he's injury prone. It's crazy. Well, so was Kieran Tierney. I'm just saying, Kieran Tierney was injury prone the majority of the time that he was away from Celtic. It wasn't until he came back to Celtic they had one full season where he never had one injury. So it could be a good deal for Celtic. They could get a player in that maybe has a bit of longevity, and they might be able to get him on the cheap and then sell him on but you never know. But asking why a young player would want to go out on loan from Chelsea, he's obviously getting nowhere near the first team. The fact that he's been out at Strasbourg and then out at Watford on loan. So that maybe explains that. Jim says part of Taylor's reason for leaving was also because some of the fans who couldn't tell a player from a record player. You don't sign for Celtic if you're not a good player. Yeah, there was a lot of fans didn't like Greg Taylor for one reason or another. He's a player that had a love-hate relationship with Celtic fans. He loved his time at Celtic, and he grew into the player that he was. I think he's got a lot to thank Ange Postecoglou for, because Ange turned him into a player where he wasn't just a fullback. He could come into the midfield and play a little bit of a different role. And then Brendan Rodgers utilised that, but pretty much ruined him as a player. It's good to be seeing work done. Yes, getting back to the comment with the Celtic Fans Collective and all these other organisations, do they become irrelevant as the season kicks off? If we close this window down, having brought in 5-6 really good players and improve the quality of the squad, and then complement the squad with youth players that have been in and around Celtic for a number of years. It's a very Martin O'Neill way to do things, and it's giving the youngsters a chance, which Brendan Rodgers said there's no one coming through the youth team for at least 2 or 3 years. No one, as far as he was concerned. And then you have Martin O'Neill, who is giving youth a chance at Celtic, and hopefully they thrive. So what then happens to all the protests that were last season? You've had it already this season, all Celtic fans against the board being sung at Celtic Park and at the away game, Kilmarnock. Now we know who's singing the songs, but should they hod their wished, as they say in Scotland? Have the board done enough to say, yeah, okay, we've changed a little, or do we still want rid of all the board and the hierarchy? I think there's nothing going to change anyway. I think personally, I think that the sack the board stuff should end, because you're not going to get rid of anybody on the board that's of any significance to the way that the business is run at the club until Dermot Desmond leaves. Joseph Davison says it's not been 2 days into the window, it's been years of decline and no ambition. That's why people are upset with the board, right? Get it right up, you. I'd rather have Big Sloop Dog than Taylor, says Pablo. McInnes is setting the board up for blame already. But the Celtic board? Liam Fisher wants Taylor coming in from the other half of the world. He wants Greg Taylor back at Celtic. He was out last nearly all of last season. Injury. He was out for 2. He had an abductor. He had an abductor injury. He was abducted for 297 days. He missed 44 games at Watford last season. 44 games. So he was out. Listen, we can slag off players that were bringing in on loan that was out for 44 games last season. Cameron Carter-Vickers has missed pretty much the majority of a season. Cameron Carter-Vickers has never had one season where he's been fully fit. Everyone was giving it to Kieran Tierney at the beginning of last season, saying that Kieran Tierney's made of chocolate. He'll never see out a full season. But he did. He saw out the full season. He maybe never finished a lot of games, and they managed his game time. In the modern game, you know, whilst I may not like the stats side of it, and Martin O'Neill doesn't like the stats side of it. Check the rest. I don't want to send them into having nightmares, because if I put up this picture of, I mean, 31 days is nothing in a season. Since 2021, he had a leg injury that kept him out for 7 days. He had an ankle injury in 21-22 season that kept him out for 38 days. He had knee problems that kept him out for 45 days in the 24-25 season. He had a shoulder injury that kept him out for 67 days, and then he had an abductor that kept him out for. He's made of chocolate, isn't he? Just cancel it. The boy's made of chocolate, man. He literally is made of chocolate. Right, Celtic, sack it. I'll put it up. I'll put this image up. And if you are of a nervous disposition when it comes to anything Celtic, look away now, as they say on telly. And I'll try and get this as big as possible so that it scares the living daylights out of you. You ready? 3, 2, 1. There we go. And there's how many days he has been out injured. So I think we'll maybe sack it, Celtic. Yeah. It's quite Kieran Tierney-esque, isn't it? Except I don't think Kieran Tierney was out for 297 days in a calendar year. Okay. Right. I'm going to jump right through to the end of the comments after that. That's many abductions. Definitely an experiment. Yeah, I think we'll sack him. Right, the guy's a bomb scare. Anyway, right, that's me done and dusted for this evening. The big news is that Celtic have got incomings coming tomorrow, and he is literally made of chocolate. Yeah, and I will get those. I mean, that's stats. That's worse than Cameron Carter-Vickers and the Ox. Here's a great comment. Imagine playing 270 games in a year. Yeah, you don't, do you? How many days has Jota been out? About 2 years, isn't he? Literally, it'll be about 2 years the time that he comes back. Anyway, thank you to everyone who has been on the live this evening. I will see yous all in the morning. Just one last check of the Celtic website. Nada. It's still got hats off to Casper. And with the first Celtic treble. Like the fact that Celtic are little nods to the treble, and that's it. And then we could always go into the store and see what gumph they've been putting out. Oh, look, 50. Oh, there we go. The season's not even started, and look, up to 50% off selected items in store and online. Selected lines only while stocks last. There you go. The Adidas golf range. The less I say about that, the better. Anyway, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. Doesn't look like Celtic are going to do anything tonight. It looks like they're going to do it all tomorrow, which will keep us all excited, and then we will look forward to the